Hi, everyone. Let's start taking our seats. We're getting ready to begin with the meeting. We have quorum. Good evening. Calling to order the Special Needs Advisory Board meeting today, August 24th at 5:41 p.m. Okay. Angela, could you please take the roll?
Yes. Yesenia Leyva,
Present.
Vivian,
Present.
Jasenia. She didn't log in that you know of. David,
Present.
John,
Present.
Francisco. Annette.
Present.
No Annette. Okay.
Okay. The first order of business is deferrals, additions, or deletions. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda? I don't see any. Okay,
Actually, can I add something to the agenda?
sure.
I wanted to give an update on, what did we call it? We were going around town trying to make sure we have it every single Miami Lakes special needs business. I'd like to do an update on that, and I'd like to make a request into that too. So you can put that at last. It doesn't have to be immediate.
Okay, I'll add that as item number G6G under old business. So I move to add 6G for John's update on the local businesses that offer special needs services. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay, so let's move on to public comments. We have the pleasure of having the mayor's assistant here today, Joseph. He's gonna talk to us about the mayor's gala. You have the floor.
Thank you very much. Many of you are new faces to me, but I've known some of you already. My name is Joseph Sosa. I'm the mayor's assistant. And I wanted to quickly update you guys on this year's 2021 Mayor's Gala. As you know, last year, because of COVID, we could not do it. And before that, we had two very successful galas and with different themes. So this year, as the mayor mentioned, we're back on, back on track. And the theme this year obviously is from the 80s and 90s. So it'll be a great fun to dress up. And I guess that's pretty much our era, so it'll be a lot of fun. And of course, the mayor's office as always has the doors open, whatever you guys can contribute. I know time is essence because everybody's working and doing everything. But one of the things that we would love to increase from the past gala is the silent auction items. At last year, the one before that, we did pretty good. The year before that also, it kind of grows little by little. But I really think we can expand. We can actually raise more funds through the silent auction. So today, basically, I wanted to reach out to all of you. Maybe you have family and friends. One of the things that I like to do is I like to work with the people I know. I go to Vicky Bakeries, for example, and all the time. And if I go to Vicky, say, hey, look, can you guys give they already know you. They already know me. $50 gift certificate, 100, whatever. Just go with the people you know. I had some people, they reach out to a family member and they ask for a gift card or they buy a television set or something unique. So as of today, I have, for the auction, I have two paintings, original paintings. They're being painted by Griselle, who did the Mayor's Podcast mural. And she also did the one by the Royal Oak Park in the back where you see the dominoes. She's an amazing painter. She'll be donating painting and she's working on it right now. We also have a trip to Jamaica already. I also have someone, a very good gentleman here in Miami Lake, elderly. He donated, which I have to go pick up, about 15 autographed baseballs from Legendary. So I have volunteers working to help me. What's the value on those things and everything else. So, so I know Vivian has also been doing a lot of things. She also got a sponsor for the gala. So if you guys can reach out to your family, friends, you know, if you know, it will really help big time because we need it as much as we can. I do whatever I can on my end. The mayor does as well. But always when people know that you guys are on the committee, it's much easier, you know, and it always start with family and friends and people that you know, and they're most likely will donate something, you know. It could be anything. We've had golf clubs, pictures of autograph, memorabilia, gift certificates, spa, you know, some treatment from the spa. And if you were there at the last gala, you see how nicely it was all set up. And if people can go up and if they want to bid for it, they bid for it and so on. So at the end of the day, it's a big way of raising funds besides the tickets and the sponsorship that we do. And then of course, throughout the whole night, we have somebody going around every hour, those who want to continue buying chips for the casino, because as you know, it's a casino night atmosphere. So that's another way of generating. So we also have somebody new, Kimberly, that's also some items for the mayor's gala. She was going to have a little spot there, and it'll be able to, you know, bring funds in that way. So we have so many different ways, but I wanted to give you an update on that. We also been meeting with our big title sponsors like Vanity Designers of how everything is going to look. We're trying to bring, you know, that flavor of the 80s and 90s. Vivian was able to be there as well. Our next event, next kind of sponsor that we're going to be looking at, if you're all welcome, of course, if you're available, we're going to be at Chella's. And they are the title sponsor for the catering. And they're going to give us some food tasting to see what we think. You know, we're going to have different kind of food, mostly finger style, pretty much like we did the last time. Makes it much easier for people to eat and enjoy the night. Okay, so pretty much that's it. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me, but remember, if you need help or some ideas of getting sponsors, or if you need my assistance for me to call for you, you know, something like that, I'll be glad to do it. But I think we can really increase the amount and also bring more than we did the last time. Yes.
I do want to approach businesses and let them know this is a wonderful opportunity for them to advertise for themselves or whatever, but I don't have a shirt, I don't have a card, I have nothing to prove my affiliation with this committee. So that's why I asked for the letter via email. So if there's anything you can give me so people can trust me when I go out and approach them and ask them, that would be very helpful to me.
I was actually going to suggest that. I was thinking, you know, when for the years that I've worked in radio, whenever we do a promotion like this, to do an event like this, we usually put up like a sheet just like this, an 8x11 sheet that has like the logo of the event, logo of the town, stuff like that. And it's, you know, it's like a big celebration type invitation type thing. And it says simply like along the lines like, hey, we know you're a Miami Lakes business. We'd love to have you donate to our event. If you can, you know, here's the contact information, who you can reach out to or how you can donate. If we could get like a stack of those, we could just hand them out to every time anywhere we're around town here, we could hand them up to any of the businesses that that may not remember, hey, you know, it's coming up in September. So, so if we had something like that, I mean, that would be helpful. When you get to the larger businesses though, I agree that you're going to want to have some kind of credential to show them, because they're going to say, oh yeah, okay, sure, I know you're a member, right? But you know, that might be something where you might actually want to invite the mayor to talk to them as well, because it might put some standing into it. But yeah, if you could get us, if we could put together like an 8.5 by 11 sheet of just something fun saying the gala's coming up and we still are looking for auction donations. We'd love to have you as part of it. Anything you want to give, and here's the contact sheet. We could hand those out to every business we go to. I think that would be phenomenal.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's doable. It would definitely have to come from your request through the liaison. And then the liaison will, I believe is Claricel, to make sure it's okay. She'll provide all the letterhead and put all the information that you guys want. And then that's pretty much it. It is a doable thing. If you want to reach out to the bigger businesses, I think that's a good idea. Depending on what it is, it could be a big painting or something like that, and
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could get that submitted, I mean, we don't have to, obviously, we don't have to, I think we have to vote on this. We don't have to do anything like that. We're just asking them to put it together. So as soon as the papers are ready, we can all swing by City Hall and just pick them up and start handing them out. Because I know time is, limited. We're almost in September.
Mhm.
So
Oh, yeah,
that's
great.
perfect.
We could do it. Yeah, it's exciting too. It's like we get things also from the Miami Dolphins, and they require something like that because they're a bigger organization. They have to go through all the process step. But we have so many wonderful small businesses here that I think we should reach out to them because like they could use the exposure as well. They get the tax write-off and everything. We'll mention them and everything. It'll be fun. It'll be real fun. Any other questions? No?
Just for the record, I wanted to express how grateful we are to the mayor for, donating the proceeds of the gala to our board.
Of
And
course, yeah.
so I want to reiterate that and express our gratitude.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you guys for your time. So like I said, reach out to me or Vivian and, whatever you guys need. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Okay, the next public comment is Lindsay Wallach. She's coming to talk to us about a mental health event that she has an idea for. You have the floor.
It's exactly what I was talking about.
Grab a mic, if not, okay, good, thanks.
Time. So I'm Lindsay Wallach. I am from Meraki Wellness and Healing. We are a community mental health center literally down the street. We service all of Miami-Dade and Broward County. With everything going on in the terms of the pandemic and whatnot, the need for mental health services has tremendously increased. I'm sure all of you are very well aware of that. With that being said, I've been trying to put together a resource fair for our community. I've already spoken to all the vendors that you see on there through my personal connections or whatnot, and have all verbally said yes to putting this together and providing resources. Now, what makes it different as what I'm trying to accomplish rather to other fairs that go on is I only want to partner up with organizations that actually provide services and help for the community rather than having insurance companies and this and that. I don't want any of that. That's the only exclusivity that I asked. I was going to do the event somewhere else, but everybody's like, wait, you were here. Why not do it in your own backyard and have the town of Miami Lakes come together? I sit as the vice chair for the mental health task force. Unfortunately, I cannot approve myself, and we're not a committee yet, which we present hopefully soon, and we will be one. But in the time being, I wanted to do this right now. The need for services there. We get so many calls, asking for information. What are the programs? Where can I get help? We're trying to make mental health as accessible as possible. Even though we are not a non-for-profit, we are a Medicaid, Medicare provider. We take insurances, so we're trying to make it as accessible as possible. So this is what I'm trying to accomplish. I have the date set in mind. These people have already confirmed to me to a certain degree, and I wanted to see if the Special Advisory Board would partner in with my agency to help get this event going. I think that we are all within the same realm. We all service people that are in dire need. We go hand in hand, mental health with, disabilities. And I wanted to get your feedback and see if it would be something that would be possible. I will do all the legwork. I do not need any funding from you. I don't need money. I don't need anything. I just want you guys to support me. And like we said, in promoting this event with the town, I want to be able to bring everybody out and make it a fun day. It would be nice, however, to get like the food and all of that from local vendors because it is the town of Miami Lakes and give them the opportunity to showcase their businesses for the fun aspect, for the food and all the fun stuff. Any questions, comments?
Yes. Do you need a place to hold the event?
Yes, so I had already put it on there and this is my manifestation. I would like to do it at Royal Oaks Park. I have the date set and I have the time set that I think would be a good fit for the families. And I want it to be a fall festival, pumpkin spice galore.
I was gonna say, I was hoping there was gonna be some pumpkins there.
Oh, we are gonna go all out on the pumpkins.
But one of the things that I find, and this is completely outside of the mental health aspects, one of the things that I've found being from the Midwest, down here, fall festivals are like non-existent. Every fall, we had pumpkin pies, we had pumpkin patches, we had hay rides, we had bobbing for apples. Now, I know we're in the middle of COVID, but it still, would be nice to see a real festival where you could actually do a few of the fun things again. So if you're putting all that together, I mean, this sounds great. How we can help and if that's something we can be involved in, I'd love that. Plus, it helps me not having to drive all the way to Sebring to try and enjoy Fall Festival, right?
So this would be an outdoor event?
Correct. Yes, we would take all social distancing guidelines, of course, and we go in with whatever's going on at that time, But I do want it to be an outdoor event, yeah, just to make it more comfortable for everybody.
Now, local nonprofits can also participate. Is there
Yes.
a cost for that?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I would want it to be as much more. If there's any other nonprofits that you guys would want to, involve, please, very welcomed. The more resources that we have, the better. I haven't reached out to NAMI just yet and to 211 because I don't want to go up to them, approach them with something and it not be approved, that it's not going to follow through. These are people that I know on a different level that have given me a commitment with the feeling that we're going to get accepted or it's going to get approved. But I wouldn't approach somebody yet that if it's not a for sure thing, because I wanted to get a yes first.
Have you already reached out to the park to see if that date is available?
No, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I will
'cause
do that.
Yeah, that would be the first thing
Perfect.
that, I mean, we would have to vote on it.
Correct.
But the date, because I know there's like, on the weekends, there's like soccer tournaments.
Correct,
and
yeah.
So we
Mhm.
wouldn't want to coincide with
Mhm.
any of
Okay,
that. We want to make sure that we have a date where it's.
exactly, that
that'll
is
be our
set.
place.
Yeah, mhm. Yeah, and I could find that out for you, but tomorrow I'll just call
Do
them.
you have a plan B and plan C in case of?
Yeah, if it doesn't work out with the town, I will do it at another location with one of my other nonprofits that have given me the verbal yes, yeah. I just wouldn't be here in the
Well,
town.
you have Mary Collins and the youth center as well.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm open to locations. I chose that one just because that's the one I'm most familiar with in terms of space that I've seen that would be with the parking and accessibility and all that. But if you guys are open to other locations, I'm not that familiar with Town Miami Lakes. I don't know all the parks. I would be open to the look. That's not an issue.
Well, I like the idea. I mean, I think that we can find a park. If that one's unavailable, I'm sure there's.
Yeah, I
there's
mean, it's
over
something we can
100
work-
Parks here. So
yeah.
we can do something. So yeah, I think we could still have it in town. It'd be worth for us to be involved with. Absolutely. This is what we live for. This is what we stand for. This is what our board is all for, is doing things like this. So yeah, I'm behind it. What do we have to do to do anything to be involved? What do we need to do, Vivian?
Yeah, I don't know that.
We would need to add it to new business
Uh-huh.
and vote on it.
I put a motion to add it to new business.
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, motion passes.
There you go.
Thank you guys so much. So now I'll find the park and I'll confirm the date. right? And then what happens next?
We have to vote on it.
Okay, you guys will vote. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
We'll vote and we'll let you know,
perfect.
you
Yay.
know, the outcome.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we'll do the general vote on on doing the event itself.
In itself,
And then
exactly.
we can always put in the stipulation that the location and the
Right.
Okay,
time
perfect.
can be picked within the next meeting.
Gotcha.
I
would
have-
you consider having part of the event indoors?
Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely. I wouldn't mind
Because
that.
I know we've done events the first week of October.
It's still so hot. And I
And
was
it's
trying to,
still-
yeah. And the reason I didn't choose in November, holiday season, people are already disengaged. December, forget it. October past the 15th, Halloween, there's a lot of activities going on, Halloween activities. So I was trying to still make it,
Right,
so,
because the Mary Collins Park, there's an indoor.
okay.
Building.
And there's more shade. Okay, perfect.
There's an indoor
Absolutely.
building and then the building is actually at the park.
That
So
sounds
you
even
kinda-
better. So we can have
Yeah.
some AC and, oh yeah,
Yes.
okay, absolutely.
So,
I would be open to change. That's not an issue at all. I just didn't know that about that part. I'm gonna go check it out. All right, guys, thank you so much for
I
your
have
time. I
two
appreciate
so
it.
questions
much.
Yeah,
before
sure.
you go. The city of Hialeah, they've already committed
It's
to
the,
this.
it's the police department. We work with the Victims Compensation Unit and they are gonna be there providing information on sex trafficking and whatnot. Yeah,
Okay, and then my next question, do you have an email address so we can contact you?
absolutely. I actually
Okay,
brought my
awesome.
business card and
Thank you.
I'm just looking forward to meeting Apollo here.
Thank you so much.
This is,
and if anybody else wants one, I'll.
yeah, over here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have enough, but
I got my last one.
Yeah, give it to- there you go. Now we just need to find you a hayride. Maybe Joseph can work on that one for us. I love hayrides. They're fun.
thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joseph. Okay, so next on the agenda, we have the approval of minutes. We have the April minutes, which we deferred last month, and the July minutes to approve. So if you want to take a couple of minutes to look them through, if there's any corrections, let us know so our very diligent secretary can make any corrections.
Well, where would we be without her, huh?
Yes.
That's funny.
Okay, is everyone good? Are we ready to make a motion?
Yeah.
All right, I move to approve the April and July 2021 minutes.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, going on to old business. Mayor's Gala. I just want to reiterate Joseph's point of, trying to get sponsors, trying to get items. you know, that this money comes right back to us. So this is our funding. We don't have any funding from the town's budget. So, you know, if everyone could get, you know, a couple of items, 1 to 2 items, you know, I think that, you know, that would be amazing.
Do you prefer gift certificates, gift cards, or do you want actual items? Like for example, like, do you want me to go get a barbecue grill from Home Depot, or would it be better to just get a Home Depot gift card?
I mean, I'm just thinking of like the logistics of, you know, large items is harder, you know. But I mean, a grill would be great. I'm sure anybody would love to bid on that. I mean, you can even get donations. Like there's smaller businesses who rather just write you a check. And, you know, you can get that as well.
With the nature of the event and then the gala, like let's say it's a grill, you know, if they can, the location can donate a gift card or something specific, you know, for the money to go to something specific, trips, hotel stays, tickets for other events or games, sports events, and that kind of thing.
Or like spa days,
Spa days,
you know.
yes.
it's
Wine
sort of like,
baskets.
yeah, wine
Okay.
tasting, you know, restaurant.
I think
gift
we really,
card.
it would be
It's
helpful.
like
if
an
we-
experience, you know.
Mhm.
I think it would be helpful if we could get those sheets in the next week or something, even if it's not an 8x.5 by 11, if it's just a 4x6 card or something that we can take with us to kind of remind the business owners that we want to get donations from them. Because in my years of doing this with this radio groups, I'd have a handful of people that would say yes at the spot and give you something. And another handful of people that say, I will get to you, but I can't remember. I got busy now. And having that flyer reminded them to call back, and they did call back and they did donate. So having something we can hand them, you know, if they're like, hey, I'm busy, I can't talk right now. Hey, we just want you to take a look at this. We're looking for donations for the mayor's gala. It's not, you know, it's a write-off on your taxes, good for your business. You're representing the town. We're part of the town. Something real quick would be helpful.
We
So-
can definitely work on a letter, like we mentioned, something to help you guys, help us all when we're out there seeking something, but also too on, if you're on Facebook, there's a flyer on there.
There is.
There is a flyer. There is actually an event invite on Facebook, and then it's also on Eventbrite. So you can always use that as well as a marketing tool.
I'll have to go look at that then.
Yes, it's the totally 80s and 90s. So I just looked up Mayor's Gala and it pops up on Facebook. So if you have Facebook, you can always share it. Information is there and there's a flyer there as well.
Very good.
And also it helps to have a shirt. Did you order the shirts?
Is there anybody that didn't submit their size or that needs to submit their size for Francisco? Okay, I'll follow up on that first thing tomorrow.
Okay, and get his size.
Yes,
You have everybody's size who's here right now.
yes,
Well, Jasenia has a shirt.
she has one.
Yeah.
Yes, I have everyone else.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Does anybody have any questions about the mayor's gala? Because I've been to the past two. So-
It is okay that we come dressed in the attire, right? We don't have to wear. our
I'm coming
shirts.
totally 80s dressed.
Okay, good.
Ah.
I need to buy my wife's ticket. I keep forgetting to do that.
I
I'm
just got my
doing a
husband's
big
today.
hair and everything.
Yeah.
I think we finally figured out what outfit we want to wear because she's got the look. So
I'm gonna need help on that attire because I was born in '85.
I'm
So
86.
it's not my.
Be
Fine.
quiet. I'll help you.
I was born in the 80s, but I actually live in the 80s.
All you need is a bottle of Aquanera.
Oh my God.
I had a question, Vivian.
Yeah.
During the gala, like what types of tasks will we be helping with? You know, like, are we gonna be helping with the silent auction or like, what will we be doing?
Okay, so normally the special needs advisory board members, including myself, at the entrance, there's a counter. We'll be behind the counter and we'll be checking people in.
Okay.
There's gonna be a list, several lists, and we have to check people off and make sure that, they're on the list, that they purchase tickets. They're also gonna get an opportunity to purchase Manny money, which
Okay.
is like the fake money to, play on the casino games.
Mhm.
Okay, and this year, this is something new. The Treyes Cottage, they're the ones who did the different not less shirts. I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys remember. They're gonna be doing a shirt just for the gala.
Oh, cool.
I think a shirt and a cap. And so we're gonna be selling those. Well, she's gonna be selling those. She's gonna have her own table. So we're gonna be directing people to go to her table. We're planning on having like a display in the back, like behind us of the shirts.
Mhm.
So people are like, oh, wow, look, and we're like, oh, go to her table. She's selling them because the proceeds from that, she's donating back to us.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
So, and the ideas that she showed me were amazing. Amazing. I think everyone's gonna want one of those
Yeah.
shirts. So,
Great.
and she's gonna have like a check-in, checkout system where people can purchase the shirt and leave it there. So they don't have to carry it around all night.
Okay.
So, so that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's, kind of what we'll be doing. And we'll take turns as well, so, because too many people behind the counter is chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll take turns and, so one of us can go inside, like the ballroom and, drink, eat, whatever, and then they'll come back and somebody else can go. But yeah, it's mostly for the beginning,
Mhm.
when people are arriving and checking in and taking pictures. Because right there in the front of the counter, they usually set up like a picture spot. So,
Cool. I'm
so
excited.
yeah, it's fun. You
It's
get
gonna
to
be
see
fun.
everybody, say hello to everyone, and it's nice. It's nice. It's fun. So, and I love the 80s and 80s music, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Any other questions about Mayor's Gala? Okay. So I'll have an update on the Boundless Park repairs. They've been completed and Claricel is working on scheduling everything for the video. So that's coming up, coming up real soon. I had the chance to be at the filming of the registry video. And I thought it was a lot of fun. So if any of you want to be there to watch them film, I will let everyone know when that's gonna be happening. Usually it happens during working hours. So, I understand if not everyone can go, but it was fun it's fun to watch. So, okay, moving on. The Saturday dance class with Spectrum Dance. So a couple of weeks ago, it was the open house for Miami Lakes where they, sign everyone up for all their the different programs that they have for after school. They have ballet, they have karate, and they have a couple of like after school camps. So for the first time, we had a program there, the Spectrum Dance program. And I spoke to Miss Audrey and all the slots have been filled, all 30 slots. So that is super exciting. I'm super happy about that. So I wanted to bring something up regarding that, since we're like sponsoring that class, I thought Miss Audrey, she has like a uniform for the kids, which is a t-shirt. So like in the registration, it said that t-shirt is $20. I mean, the parents are not paying anything. Everything is under a scholarship, so they're not paying anything. But I thought maybe we could pay for the t-shirts. It would be
I like it.
$600. I mean, we still have quite a lot of money left in our budget. So I thought it'd be nice to maybe for us to incur that cost instead of the parents.
I agree with it. I mean, as a
So-
parent of special needs kids, I can tell you, $20 is a lot of money. I can buy 2 orders from McDonald's with that.
Right.
So yeah, I'm behind that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think if it's part of the class, like they need that anyways, and we've already sponsored the tuition for them, we should pay for the shirts too. That's part of the deal, I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. So I move to allocate $600 for 30 t-shirts for the Spectrum dance class.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Perfect. Something else that I wanted to bring up for future reference when we're doing the next budget with the dance class, because almost 2 years ago, we donated, I think it was like over $2,000 for scholarships for the dance class. And that was like in March, and like literally that's when the pandemic started. So, that money is being used, for scholarships for these students. Because for the 10-week period, it's about, she sent it to me. It's about $2,000 for each, $2,000 for the 10-week period for 2 instructors and 4 assistants. Okay, because there's 2 classes, level 1 and level 2. Okay. So I believe there would be 4 10-week periods in the year. I think we should consider adding that into our budget for next year for us to completely fund that class.
That makes sense. We make it actually, we want to make it an actual budget line, so that when we do the next budget, it would actually be like specific, dance class budget.
I mean, it fits under one of our buckets that we have for, I think, social programs, or one of the, Mr. Treasurer. Do you know the buckets? Do you have the buckets available there? Okay. Jesse, what do you think about that?
How would that look in the future as other programs come aboard and financially
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to
speaking?
you about. Like, would that maybe go under Parks and Rec? Like, I don't know. You need to find that out.
Maybe
Like,
we-
do Parks and Rec, is that something that they fund, or?
I mean, I think to me, I see a bigger picture in that regard. Bigger than like the Special Needs Advisory Board being the ones to fund it, is how
Uh-huh.
we could perhaps to that point partner with Parks and Recreation to provide some kind of funding towards it. I just don't know if funding the entire thing would be feasible. Again, in the future, this one is, we have one program, then we can work with it. But in the future, are we going to be able to fund any future program along with this one, and how financially feasible is that going to be? And are we going to be able to, or can we um, pro- develop a partnership with Parks and Recreation to make that happen, where
Right.
it's not falling fully on the Special Needs Advisory Board?
Right.
I agree
No,
with
I
her on that.
I totally understand where you, but also I'm thinking of, you know, what are we gonna spend our money on?
Yeah, I think that, well, one of the items that we're going to be talking about is the inclusion and ambassadors.
Mhm.
Just a thought to me, and we've talked about it briefly, I believe in the last meeting, I'm more of a fan of, I want to see our funds, I would like to see our funds going to the actual individuals, to the people that need it, for whether it's actual services, whether it's employment support, whether it's helping them pay for transportation, whatever it is that we can use the funds for directly to the consumer needs versus an overall program, if that makes sense.
That
You know,
totally makes
in-
sense,
in a-
but that's my point. Like, we need to come up with those type of things.
Yeah.
So we can spend the money, because otherwise we're, we have all this money, we're gonna have all this money and,
Yes.
I
how do
think
we
it makes
spend the money? How
sense.
do we spend the money?
I'm with Jesse on that one. I'm a big supporter of the idea of finding a way to create like an entrepreneurship program for people with disabilities to help them become business owners instead of employees. And that's what I would like to go that route, instead of just a single program, finding a way to create, help more individuals.
From my perspective, we still have a lot of young kids as well that we're trying to help. So I get where you're saying as well, Vivian. And to me, I think you need a combination of things. We're still waiting for the town to finish, and it could take a couple of years, it could take several years, but we're still waiting for them to finish the building of our special needs center. I have a feeling that once we have the center, we'll be able to offer, a ton of events like this at a half the price, because they don't have to use a space. They can use our space, as we talked about the last time we talked about the center, that they would be able to use our space. And that kind of cuts down on the cost for them. So that's kind of like us investing in them as well. But right now, we don't have the center. Right now, we have to partner with outside pieces that exist, such as the event with the city. So, if we're only doing one, it's not that big of a deal if we spend our money on it. If we're going to pick out 2, 3, or 4 programs, then yeah, we should be talking to Parks and Rec or the city saying, look, you do this whole big event for all these people. We want our stuff to be involved in it. So we'll throw some portion of our money towards it, but we also need you guys to throw a portion of yours towards it as well. That's how it works with every other department. It should make sense for us too. So that we're not spending all of our funds on all of those programs, because then we do want to keep some of those to side to do events, something like this. Maybe we might come up with an event like this. Maybe we might want to be involved in a big special needs event that's coming to BB&T Center or something. There's like a lot of things that we have to have that reserved for. And rather than spending all of that money, we definitely should be getting some of it back if it's an event that we're partnering with. And that sounds like what this is. Right now, though, we're new. We're just walked in the door. We got our first event going for them. So yeah, we budgeted that. We took care of it. Sounds just fine to me. Next time, we need to meet with them and say, hey, we want to add more programs, but we need your help. Because they're going to pay for the other ones, for the neurotypical kids, the neurotypical adults. So if they're going to pay for that, they should also help pay for some of this as well. It doesn't have to be all of it, just a portion,
Because for all the other programs that the town offers, the parents pay. And that's probably how they fund it, because the parents pay.
Right, that's the difference between.
Right.
We can always offer a reduced pay too. I mean, I can tell you that there's a ton of events that we as a family have done because they were $3 for us to do because we had special needs children instead of the $10. Okay, we can afford to throw a few dollars at it. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Everybody wants to be involved in some way. That's one way they can be involved. You know, it's not like you're giving them a, how do you describe it? It's not like you're giving them a scholarship to go to a college. You know, this is an event. Right now we have the funds to do it, let's do it. If we have too many events and we can't buy T-shirts for the event, maybe they have to buy the T-shirts. Right now we have the money
Well-
to do it, you know what I'm saying?
Hold on, because you're confusing me by calling it event, at an event. This is a class, a 10-week class that's happening every Saturday at 11.
Yeah, sorry, my apologies.
Okay,
To me,
because
that's,
I wasn't sure if then maybe you were talking about this event or.
no,
Sorry,
the
okay.
class, you know,
All right,
like,
yes.
it's a class, but it's not, you're not going to college for a whole year. You're going to this class for a set number of times. It's in partnership, you said, with Parks and Rec, right? They're doing this for other children and in different events that they're, different classes that they're doing, right?
Right,
So those parents probably paid everything, but the town organized it and that's all they did?
right. They do that every year. They offer all these, different programs for kids for after school. There's ballet, there's karate, there's computers, there's like a bunch of different classes.
Okay,
And there's never been anything for, a special needs
Right.
population. So we brought in this dance therapy class. And, we're sponsoring it. So, this 10-week class, the parents won't have to pay.
I
But
think that's
in
fine.
the future,
They may have to.
they might have to pay. If we're not gonna pay for it, somebody's gonna have to pay for it, or I don't know if, the parents paying fully funds the entire program, or if Parks and Recs puts anything in. Right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You don't know that, we don't have an answer to that question.
No, that's why I'm
Okay.
asking
Mhm.
her to please
That's something we can
find
look
that out,
into,
because
yes.
whatever they put in might be enough to fund this class. It doesn't take that much to fund the class.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, all right. So then let's find out if they're putting money in. If they're not though, if the parents paying the full price is all they're offering is the ability to go, like, hey, there's a class, would you like it? Yeah, it's $12 where you're going to pay for it. If we add 3, 4, 5 classes like that for our future ones down the road, it would be fine for us, I think, to sponsor them still and give them a reduced rate. So if it's $12 per student, now it's $6. But we can't fully fund them if we're going to do more than 1 or 2 events, because then we're going to drain the budget really fast. It may seem like a small amount now, but imagine if it's 2,000 and we're doing it times 6. And then we have other events that we have to pay for and other things, what happens if the park gets damaged by a tornado? They're going to ask us to help fix it again. So, that kind of thing. So,
And-
yeah,
And it's accountability to the families and the parents. Like you pay something, you have a little more accountability to continue the participation, until the very end. So I think having some kind of accountability on the parents is important. We've also talked about funding different needs, different specific needs, whether it's assistive technology, whether it's something medical, a medical expense. So I'm still a fan of that. Again, to find a way of funding specific needs for the individuals. And I think this was before the pandemic, where we talked about maybe developing a form, making it some sort of a scholarship type of program without it necessarily being called that. So there's different things that we can do in order to make sure that we're using the funds. It's just really,
Well, that's what we need to come up with.
Yes, that we
That's
need-
why I need
we need
you
to
guys to bring
define-
in, ideas or different programs, or how do we identify these needs so we can, spend the money accordingly to, I want to wait till we get to the inclusion ambassador so we can talk more about that, because
Mhm.
it's down here, so we
Yeah.
should.
I think that going back to, or having in mind the research that was done, the special needs
The blueprint.
blueprint, yes, the
Mhm.
blueprint. And just if we keep that in mind, the biggest need was for the transition the employment, and the post-secondary. I liked how we did the post-secondary class that we were doing. I like the idea of the post-secondary class, just in a different way, geared more towards skills, like actual skills for transitions, for transition, whether it's cooking, whether it's, whatever it is. And that was something we were working on and planning before COVID. So I think that would be a good idea to circle back around that. And that would actually also give us the opportunity to provide direct service or direct funding for direct services to the individuals. So I think it's there. We just need to finalize it.
All right, let's move on so we can get down to the new business. The Education Advisory Board awards, at the last town council meeting, the council approved the awards. So I wanted to update you all on that. They're gonna be contacting me when their next meeting is gonna be. So if anybody wants to attend and put their 2 cents in about the awards. I don't know if you're familiar with what I'm talking about. No, John.
No, this
Just
one I'm
a
not.
quick recap of the Education Advisory Board. They want to do like 10 awards, but that they don't focus so much on like academics. So these awards will be for kids who usually don't get awards. So they contacted us and we went to their meeting, Jesse and I did, and they wanted our input on, so we made sure that they don't have like a special needs award. We didn't want that. So we want them to consider special needs students in their award categories. So, inclusion.
Any age?
I think it's through high school. Yeah, because they focus on like students. So basically they're gonna have like a nomination process and then they will pick the winners. It's
Sounds
not
great.
all, it's a brand new event for them. So they're still working out the quirks and all that. So, they're still like working on it, but it's something that has already been approved by the council. So it's a go and they really, really want our input. So.
Do you want us to just email you some ideas or how would you like that? Or email?
Let
Jesse?
me wait until their next committee meeting so we can get, because they want to have 10 different categories.
Mhm.
So once they have those finalized, I think we can look at them and kind of see where,
Where they're going with it. Okay.
yeah.
Our biggest role is going to be once that this is finalized to help recruit, if you will,
Right.
potential students with disabilities that that meet the requirements for that specific award. Excuse me, for that specific award. So that's where our roles are really going to come in making sure that it's inclusive. Some of the items are creative arts, STEM, the science, technology, engineering, mathematics, communication, so very community related, community involvement, that kind of thing. So I think that the main question on our end was how we could best help promote it to all students, including those with disabilities, and if we're going to be able to be a part of the decision process at the
Right.
end of the voting.
Okay. Next item is working with other committees. So last night I came to the Cultural Affairs Committee meeting and the Youth Activities Task Force meeting. So basically what we wanted to promote the special needs registry to both of the committees. And, you know, kind of introduce ourselves and, you know, let them know that we want to work with them. We want them to, you know, every time they're planning an event, to think to ask the right questions. You know, is this event inclusive? You know, is, you know, the way that we're promoting it inclusive? You know, what kind of language are we using? So, you know, they were extremely receptive. You know, as a matter of fact, you know, when their meeting started, they had a presentation. Somebody was presenting in like a drama program, like for the town, for an after school program, and the Cultural Affairs Committee. And one of the members asked her, is this inclusive? And I was like, that's exactly what I want you to do. So, you know, it's just, you know, making people aware, you know, and just having them be more mindful of inclusiveness. So we still have, I still have a few more meetings to go to that I want to, you know, especially the Elderly Affairs Committee, you know, to promote the special needs registry. I have the 3x5 cards in my trunk, so I want to give you guys some. So you
Hooray.
can hand them around town. They're super, super cute. And now when you do the QR code, it takes you to our page and the video is right there on our page because it wasn't there before.
That's
And
nice.
actually Officer Amador, who's he's in the video and he's like in charge of the program. He's the one who noticed. And he went ahead and contacted Claricel and they added it. So my son, I signed him up already and he came to our home and, you know, hung out with Ryan for a little while and gave him the bracelet and the stickers and a few other things. The stuff that we ordered hasn't come in yet, right? Yeah, so yeah, it's really nice. It's a nice personal touch that an officer comes to your home and you know, meets your children or you know, I recommend it for any residents who can use that service. Okay, well, that was kind of the next topic. So, okay, so the item we added was the update from John for the
Right.
local service providers.
So I'm gonna go ahead and be honest with everybody. I haven't really touched it since the last talk. You know, and I apologize to the entire board and I apologize to the city because I know that I promised to get this done and I will get it done by October. I have worked on a good corner portion of the city where I've just gone through, like I've been saying, I've been going through building by building. I mean, literally just walking into the office buildings asking, can I go look at your registry or can I walk down the hallway so I can find out who on earth is actually in our town? Because, you know, a lot of times I've been walking through and there's a name for someone that has a special needs program and you would never know they were there. So, you know, I mean, obviously we have places that are very visible and then we have places that are not visible. I mean, you know, like little therapy places that are popping up everywhere, even over by close to the airport. So I want to continue that goal of going down and using the notepad that I have to write everybody's information down, which includes their name, phone number, email address, and the name of the business and what it provides. Translate that into digital, and then I'm going to send it over to you guys to put up together on the web. But what would be helpful now that we have the cards, I can kind of go through this again and now hand them the card. Because handing them my business card for a radio station in Missouri isn't going to help. You know, so that would be helpful to give them that, because now they have a way to remember that we're here, and they can see if we can help them somehow, or they can help us somehow with something. So, and I know that Jim was going to work on that with us. Obviously, that's not going to happen because Jen's not here anymore. But I'm, you know, David and I can handle it. It's not that big of a deal. You know, just a matter of gathering all the stuff. And in the last couple of months, I have just been out of it. And I'm, you know, I ran into you, and, you know, I told you, like, I had some medical issues. It turns out that I guess the percentage, the milligrams of my blood pressure medicine wasn't high enough. So I just kept having relapse of hypertension, and I kept getting really tired and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So I switched doctors, and all of a sudden they're like, wow, you know, do you know this is going on? No. That's why I switched doctors. So now I'm healthy. I'm feeling better. I'm not falling asleep with the wheel. So I can go back to work on all this stuff. And it's still going to be a lot to do. We've got our gala here in September. I have the school that my kids go to. They have a gala in November, and I'm involved in both. So it's a lot of stuff to do. But I'm going to set a goal of having that list to you by October, and then trying to follow up on that at least every 6 months. So I think if we keep it this way, by following up, by calling all these places, making sure they're still open or they're still involved, that would be one thing. The other thing I'll do is, like I said, on a 6 month by 6 month basis, go through and do what I did again, just making sure it's nobody new that we haven't heard about, because these people like to rent spaces and not tell us that they're here. I don't think they even know, some of them don't even know we exist. So, you know, these cards will be very helpful to let them know, hey, your town also is very much into inclusivity, into special needs. We know what's going on. We know our community, and we want to be able to help you as much as you help us. And that's my report.
Thank you, John. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you.
May I suggest something?
Sure.
What if, because I really want to start the resource page, the local resource page. What if, do you have any, like, any of them written down already, or any
I haven't
information
written
already?
yet. I can type them up on the computer real quick and give them to you. Yeah. I don't have them with me.
Because maybe you could, you know, I don't want you to overwhelm yourself, because I know this is an undertaking to, like, you know, grid, you know, the whole town for, you know.
I tell you what,
I mean,
why don't I
I
give you,
could see you maybe, you know, every couple of weeks, like, add 5 businesses.
yeah,
That you
yeah.
find, you know, something like that is not so.
I tell you what,
overwhelming.
I can type up what I have now just out of the handwritten book, and then also add in the big ones that we already know, because we have our existing directory, and there's Miami Lakes businesses that we already know that are on there. Gigi's, or, you know, prime example.
Mhm.
So we can build that local list pretty quickly with the big ones that we already know that we already on our list, plus the ones that I've already found, and then we'll just add to it. That's fine.
Yeah, because we have, like, kind of the like, national organizations
Right.
list, which has a few local,
Right. That's the one that has a few locals. in it,
Right. and then so we want to create the local list. So,
Yeah,
you know, we can start, I mean, just off the top of my head, I can think of 10,
same here.
you know.
Yeah, I can.
So
me
just
just
to
type you
start
up a
something,
list.
and maybe you can just add like 5 every couple of weeks, or even every month,
Okay.
you know, and it's not such a huge undertaking. I don't want you to, like.
It does feel a little bit lighter now.
Yeah.
It is. It's a grid. To do it grid by grid is a huge undertaking. But again, I have to say that I know it's the right thing to do, because we'll miss so many. Because some of these people, they don't have social media. You know, they haven't built they haven't built the social media yet. So we can't reach them if we don't know they're there. So yeah, that's fine. If you can give me to next week, I can email Jessie over my Excel sheet. She can get it up on the web, right? Does that sound right? Okay.
Yes, we can share information. Also, too, I wanted to say, I can share with you list of previous vendors that have been a part of our events since we started.
Okay.
And so, you know, you can condense that or add that into what you already have, and it just makes things a little bit more easy.
Sounds fine.
Yes. What time is the next meeting? At 7?
Seven.
Okay,
6:45.
okay, so we only have 2 more to go, so. All right, thank you, John.
You're welcome.
All right, so new business, Hope for Autism. They are gonna have their Halloween event, which this year is not gonna be Halloween, it's gonna be more of like like an international parade. Everyone's gonna go dressed like as their, the country where they were born or they came from. And then the Christmas parade. They're not having their parties just yet. So last year we donated, I think it was the candy, yeah, the candy bars and cookies and, stuff that I went and bought at Costco, and we set a dollar amount for each event. So, do we want to do that again?
Since it's one of the biggest
Discussion.
events that we have, yes, absolutely. I mean, the last one that we participated in during the summer, the line was all the way out to Miami Lakes Drive of cars, of people that wanted to go and it's just a drive-by with a photo, and everybody was talking about it, how that's just a little bit something that helped them feel so welcomed in the middle of the pandemic. I mean, just seeing that line that far told me that it was the right thing to do to sponsor them. So I'm for sponsoring them again this year. That's for sure.
Okay. I know in that last one, the town attorney and his wife were there helping out to hand out all the goodies. And I saw the mayor checked that he's attending, so hopefully he will be. So that would be nice on the Facebook invite. So I think we should, have a presence there and
You had
show
mentioned it
support.
before, that we should do something with them besides not just the donation, but actually have some of the board members be involved. We talked about that before. I think that would be good for us to be there as well, to help hand out,
Right.
maybe help volunteer.
Well, I know last time, I think 3 of us were there.
Yeah.
Because Yesenia was there as well.
Yeah,
'Cause
we got our
we're-
picture there.
We're part of the Hope
We
for
kinda were,
Autism
yeah.
team, yeah. So yes, everybody is welcome to come on that day. You have to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You see all the kids super excited to get their goodies, and the parents as well, it's a good time. So does anybody have any suggestions?
I think
Like,
whatever we do, we should hand out those cards so
Oh, for
people
sure. Yes.
know about the registry.
That's a great way to promote, whatever program we're doing, because,
Yeah.
just handing
Yeah.
out the cards. Yeah.
If we could actually hand the cards or hand them to them, or have us putting them in the bag when they're walking out, would be nice, because then we can at least explain, hey, don't forget, we have a special needs advisory board. We put events together for the community. Make sure you check us out on our page to see if you need resources, whatever we can do to help. I talked to 3 families after the last one was over who live in town that never heard of any of it. None of us, not of that event.
Yeah.
And they were like, this, my friend told me about this event happening, and I decided to drive up here. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do. One of the people tried to drive to the front of the line because they didn't know where the line was. They're like, this whole thing is for this event. And I'm like, yeah, you have to
Yeah.
go to the back just to wait. So,
Right.
I mean, Marianella, she does a good job. And what did we do? I think last year we just gave them a set number of Because it was for the candy purchases and and items that they wanted. We just gave them a number, didn't we?
Right, correct.
Because I know that in the summertime, we actually bought specifics, but you know,
Yes.
if we don't know what specifics they need, but we can pass something now.
Well, I know they're looking for like electronics, because that's what our kids gravitate to, you know, so they're looking for like tablets and, you know, what are the,
Earbuds and
Earbuds.
stuff.
yeah.
The AirPods.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, not like super expensive one, like the Amazon ones
Okay.
or whatever. They're looking for stuff like that. But
I
they also
happen
need
to know a
candy.
company that does that. I used to work with a brand called Let's Fit that their stuff's pretty affordable. We could actually buy probably 3 or 4 sets of headphones for, I don't know, maybe less than $110, and they're darn good. You want me to reach out to them and see what we can do?
Sure.
See if we can donate a little bit too?
We can also check out on AliExpress or Alibaba and get probably for $2, $3 each and buy 100 or 200 units.
Of what? I'm sorry.
Of what?
Alibaba or AliExpress, it's the website for buying from manufacturers in China.
You can buy in
Oh.
bulk.
You can buy
Really?
bulk,
I've
yeah.
never heard of that.
They're,
Yeah.
it's
Great
the
suggestion.
Chinese Amazon, basically.
Mhm.
They're huge.
Yep.
So anything you want to get manufactured, you can find all the suppliers there.
How long does it take?
It can, depending on the vendor, it can take from 3 weeks to a few months.
Hmm.
But the longest, what'll take the longest is the shipping, and most of them ship through DHL.
That's something interesting. I never heard of that before.
Mhm.
Well, it's worth looking into. If you want to do a specific thing, I mean, if we want to just set aside a budget for them.
I
Last
mean, we
year,
can, since you guys have like some ideas, we can table this till next meeting, so you can bring some pricing
yeah,
so that we can allocate, you know, how much money.
because they won't need it till October, right? So
Right,
we still have a
and
meeting.
December, because I want to do both.
Well, of course, but we have one more meeting to discuss it.
Right.
So yeah, let's table it for the next meeting, but obviously the answer is, we'll definitely support them. We just need to come up with what we're gonna help them get.
Okay.
Do we have a date for the international one for October?
We do. John, do you know how to look that up?
Yeah, hang
Oh,
on.
if I can look it
Thank
up,
you.
I'll look it up online then. And I'll add it. Yeah,
Because we're like in a
that would be
hurry.
on top of your
We
head,
have
but
like 5 minutes.
All right.
Okay, so, okay, I move to table the Hope for Autism event till next meeting.
I second.
All those in favor?
I,
Okay, motion passes. All right, the last item is the Inclusion Ambassador. Jesse, do you want to, you explain that so much better than I do.
Okay, so with the Inclusion Ambassador, it would be to highlight individuals with disabilities in the community. Any disability, all disabilities that are being inclusive in the community, that are really representing what inclusion is all about, whether they're working, whether they're attending school, just, doing something along those lines. I always use this young lady as an example because now she's working, Maybelline. She goes to all of our events. She's done Zumba instructor. She absolutely loves that. She's working at Chick-fil-A now, and she's succeeding. So people like her, and it's a way of letting people know, hey, this is what's going on in the community. This is what the Special Needs Advisory Board believes in and it is all about. And this is what the now of what people with disabilities is, and that's to be included and be successful in what we can do and not focus on what we can't do. So that's what the Inclusion Ambassador would be all about. And an idea was, now that actually it's a perfect timing with the Mayor's Gala coming up, because we could highlight the Inclusion Ambassador and highlight, that individual at the gala, and find a way to have something to be able to show a representation. So whether it's a specific shirt design for the ambassador or one of those a slash, what do you,
A sash.
a sash, maybe an inclusion and ambassador slash, something like that for the representation. And so they become the inclusion ambassador and they keep that. That's theirs, you know, and then we continue to grow it from there. I like it.
I like it. Yeah. That's awesome.
I think that would be a great way also, or a great help in identifying other needs of those individuals. And then being able to help us use our monies in different ways.
I agree. Having people involved in it now, having people, just having the involvement alone is going to be huge because then it's representing the community in ways that some of us can't always do. So, I mean, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, we love that idea. I also like the idea of like somehow rewarding businesses who hire people with special needs, doing something for them, you know, some type of recognition, you know, so that other businesses start doing the same, you know, trying to break down that barrier.
Well, for that, all we'd have to do is a certificate and we could come take a photo and put it up on our town's Facebook page. You know, like, hey, another business in town has decided to be a special needs friendly business by hiring someone from our community.
I'm sure we could also have the mayor, you know, how right before the town hall meetings, there's always presentations and awards that they do. So, you know, if we could maybe recognize a few of the businesses, do something like that. It gives them exposure and then other businesses will see and hopefully, you know, follow.
I think that, yes, absolutely. I agree with them having some kind of acknowledgement that they hired someone with a disability, but in a different way. I would like to say they became disability friendly or accessible, a disability friendly, accessible company or store or whatnot. So more on the fact that they became accessible, more accessible to people with disabilities versus the fact that they actually hired somebody with a disability.
Right.
I don't think you should, I don't feel comfortable acknowledging you simply because you hired somebody with a disability. You shouldn't get a prize for that. That's something you should do anyway. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes
How,
sense.
acceptance inclusive, exactly. However, you know, yes, you did become disability friendly. And I think perhaps on our end, we can attach something more to that in providing a mini training, disability etiquette training, you know, so they went through the disability etiquette training, they became ADA accessible or compliant in some way, and they hire somebody, you know, and then keep them in mind, keep them on a list for when we have an award ceremony or something, you know, along the lines of that year, then we can do a presentation of.
I like
An-
where you're going with this.
an
I like the
award.
idea because look, if we did it, let's say we got 5 businesses to sign on, they go through a program like this and then they do hire someone. We could have all 5 come to a council meeting and do a big presentation beforehand, get a picture taken, get it in the Miami Laker and has, you know, I think that would be strong. It'd be a very strong statement for the community. I like that idea. We should probably discuss that at our next meeting since we're out of time.
Yes. Okay, so I move to table the inclusion ambassador item to next meeting as well.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. I move to adjourn the meeting.
Wait, we have one
Oh,
more.
I'm sorry.
We have one more thing.
Oh, that's right.
You forgot we added that.
Yes.
You know, here, I'll just help you out with this. I'd like to make a motion that we approve and agree to work with Lindsay on building this fall festival that she wants to do. with a tentative date of October 2nd and a tentative location of Royal Oaks Parks. Those places can be redetermined at a different time, but as far as the motion is that we agree to want to work on this project.
Do I hear a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Excellent. There we go.
Now I move to adjourn the meeting at 6:59. Any seconds?
Oh, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, everybody.
That's how you do it. Right to the last second.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Chairman Koo, it looks like you have quorum.
Yes, sir, we do. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's 7:05. We'll begin this evening's meeting with a roll call. Michael Coote here, Larry Borman here, Edward Pies here, Gary Cardenas here, Mario Chavez here, Pedro Fiallo is absent, Daniel Gil Gonzalez is here, Yaniel Lazala has been removed from the committee, Nicole Ortiz is absent, and Alejandro Sanchez as well has been removed. So we do have quorum. If we could then, please, we're going to observe a moment of silence, 30 seconds. We'll ask you to bow your heads and observe 30 seconds of silence. Very good. Thank you. I would ask you to stand. Mr. Cardenas, could you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please be seated. Okay, so any public comments? Doesn't look like there are any. Move on to the order of business, deferrals, additions, and deletions. Are there any? No, we'll then move on to item number 6, which is the adaptation of the or adoption of the minutes from July, which you'll see are attached on page, it's numbered 16, actually the 3rd page in your packet, sorry, 4th. Please just take a minute. It's the same that we had last week, so there's been no changes, but if you could just look over it quickly. And if there are no changes, I'll give you about a minute to look at it. I'll move to accept the minutes as they are. Just take a look at it real quickly, please. Okay, very good. I move that we adopt the minutes from 7/27. Does anybody second? Daniel seconds. All in favor, please say aye. The ayes have it. We'll move on to the next item, which would be old business then. The military tribute banner campaign. This is a little bit dated now. We had a total of 4 banners that needed to be rehung. The company came out, Eastern Signs, the one that originally hung them. We had them remade, and to my understanding, it was at no cost. We never received an invoice.
No, sir. I think it was pro bono. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And they also secured the ones that were loose.
Yep.
And they put the tie wraps on there.
Right. Mhm.
I know Michael and I have been watching that closely since we're close to the area. But it looks like everything's been secured now. We shouldn't have any more problems.
Right, great, thank you.
Unless a truck hits it or a car like happened to Angel Martinez, I believe. But his been replaced as well.
Yeah. So it was just, I think we had mentioned it last time, just a point of interest. We lost a sign that just fell off, and I don't know, somebody must have picked it up and threw it away. And then somebody had the light post taken out completely. And then we had a late submission as well. So that accounted for all of them, but they're all up now. We have a total of 94 signs. Okay, the next item then was the Veterans Park. We sponsored the renaming, which was approved by town council. However, it was pointed out by the town attorney that we needed to do that through a resolution. Anything that requires a renaming can't be done on a simple vote. So they did that last month, and the resolution will actually be scheduled for public hearing at the next town hall meeting, which is on the 14th. So it already has unanimous approval from the town committee, our elected officials, but this is really just kind of an academic exercise, and we should then be able to rename, the park will be renamed after the 14th. The committee rules, that's item B. Item C, committee rules review workshop. William, that was brought up and we were waiting for a date.
Yes, sir. And to the best of my knowledge, it hasn't been set yet. I did ask last week, I believe, and they still haven't identified a date for the meeting. Everyone should have received, except for the potential new committee members, but I emailed a video and the committee
Committee
rules, I'm sorry, committee rules. So you have an idea, so you could review them. But yes, once a date's identified for the hearing here, I'll send it out to everybody and you can participate.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Item D then was our Veterans Committee budget request, which was, and William and Lourdes specifically, our budget has been $4.5 thousand for $4,500. And the banner campaign, just putting up those banners is quite expensive. It's around $10,000 thereabouts. And we've been very dependent on sponsors to provide for those banners, Mr. Senra in particular from the Auto Mall. And so we agreed as a committee that perhaps if the town was going to endorse its veterans, it would be better that the town did it, even though we're very grateful to Mr. Senra and his company for providing monies for this effort. You know, as we go forward with our park, we assume there'll be other opportunities to invest sponsorship money. But this one here, we felt that having the Auto Mall logo on the backside of all the military banners seemed to take a little bit away from it. So we've asked the town to provide us with the money so that we could pay for that out of town money, and then we'll use the sponsorship dollars for something else. But that was going to be September 7th and September 20th were the two dates. I think that's what you had said previously, Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, sir. And I'll verify those dates. I know 7th is correct. The 20th, I'll look it up now. I'll let you know before the end of the meeting.
And was there an expectation that one of us shows up for both of those meetings? Do we know?
It's open to the public, so we encourage you if you want to be part of the process. And I know Michael has already spoken at the first meeting to share his thoughts and why the committee felt the way they felt. And but yeah,
we'll just want to nurse it along. We don't want to ask for additional monies and then have no representation. So we'll definitely be represented there. Very good then. And then item E is our 9/11 flag ceremony. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to the Vice Chair, Mr. Larry Borman. Sir. Larry.
So on Friday, we're going to need to get the flags planted. Last year, the way we did it, we went out there, Mike and I went out early in the morning. We started about 8 o'clock. We spent the first few hours setting up the initial lines of flags so they could easily be measured off and placed by groups of people after that. I'm assuming that we're going to do the same thing this year with the help of Mike and Gary and anyone else who cares to volunteer. At this point, is there anyone in this room who would care to be out there at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday the 10th?
Friday.
Thank you, Bill.
Friday the
Friday
10th.
rather. Friday the 10th. Thank you, Bill. Mario, thank you. Okay. 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. Yeah. The idea is we'll be out there. We're going to measure off the first few lines to get the flags planted. And the idea is to have the field of flags just short of 3,000 done. At what time, Gary, can we expect to have the reinforcements, the troops come in?
Boy Scout troops 566 from Miami Lakes and 247 from Palm Springs North have already been put on notice, so to speak. And I have 584 and our own ship 144 that usually show up there anyway. Pharma Natural is going to provide 6 volunteers, I think she said,
Yeah, from Farm Natural. you
from
said.
Pharma Natural,
Yeah,
right?
okay. And as far, just to reiterate that a little bit, the water, is that going to be provided by Farm Natural this year? Or
No, the water is Humana.
Pardon me?
Humana will have a tent with water on the,
Okay, Humana will be doing that.
we'll have a tent with water on the tent.
Yeah, incidentally, for those who are volunteering on the 11th, you don't have to be there all day. Just going to help us get it started. You can come and go or whatever's convenient. Last year, we met and stayed all day, but we really didn't have people come and help.
The other one is this, today I found a new contact. It's a fellow veteran.
Pardon me?
Is a fellow veteran, happens to be the deputy chief of police for the Miami-Dade School Board.
Oh, that's always nice to have
So he offered to help us out in a way,
great.
so that he got the police explorers involved. So I'm
Excellent.
waiting a call back from the lady who's in front of it. So
Great.
to be there on the 10th. And they asked, and you know, if they could also be there on the 11th for the ceremony. I said, by all means.
Prior to 8 o'clock in the morning on the 10th, we're going to need the grass cut out there. It's very important.
That's the other
It's
thing
got
that
to be short.
I
So
have.
we- Yeah. And then the other thing, after the events, after we have the flags in, later in the evening, we're going to need some sort of guards and police out there like we had last year to make sure they stay in place till,
So Larry, the aim is to have the grass cut by Thursday, which is the 9th.
correct.
And you guys will come in on the 10th to put the flags up and then
Morning of the 10th, right.
direct the patrol throughout the night.
And the patrol probably will finish up around, I guess, last year we finished up around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I would think it's probably going to be around the same this year. So that's when we would need the police, someone from the police department, whatever out there to.
I'll put,
keep an eye on it.
I'll put a directed patrol from 7 to 7 in the morning. Because we have staff arrives at 7 in the morning in the
Right.
facility.
All right, so now moving into the actual ceremony itself on the 11th. Initially, Willie, you sent out a memo to everyone stating you're going to start at 8:30. The actual time when the first plane hit the tower is when we wanted to do the moment of silence, and that was at 8:47. So we
Yeah,
felt that we should be there a
46, yeah.
little prior to 8:30 in order to have everyone there before then.
Right.
Okay, is that?
That's not a problem. I was just waiting for the direction of the committee. So you want to put the event at 8:15 or 8 o'clock in the morning?
Chair, what do you think?
Why don't we open it up for discussion? If we make it too early, we run the risk of people showing up late or not coming. And so
8:15?
8:15 sounds reasonable.
Yeah, at the latest.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'm going,
Well, we're gonna have, the idea is to create a moment, one that'll be, hopefully, we're gonna be in national news this year. We want a moment, something special. What we did last year, at the time the first plane at 8:47 hit, the fire chief rang the bell. And Willie coordinated that, or we got the same thing going this year, Will?
so the bell, I did speak to Claire so today. I haven't spoken directly to the town manager. He's the one that owns the bell that we used. I don't see that being a problem. When he gets back, I'll ask him personally.
Okay.
I did send an email to the fire chief. I sent him 2 emails. He hasn't responded yet, but I'm going to follow up this week to ensure that he's there and if he can bring his units out as well.
Right, at least you gotta get a few fire trucks out.
Yes,
there
sir.
along with the police cars. We also wanted to coordinate, and you told me that we sent a letter out to the commander of the Coast Guard base over here as far as the flyover, maybe get a Black Hawk.
I haven't gotten any response from them. I did get confirmation for the police honor guard, since we're on that line. They're committed to be there, and they're gonna bring, I believe, 4 police cars as well.
As far as the flyover, if you would give me the number of the base commander, I'll burn his phone up. I'll go knocking on his door. I mean, I'm not-
I'll connect you tomorrow in the email.
okay, great.
I have the letter ready to go. It's just not, it's a matter of speaking to him directly.
Okay, the other thing is to set up an itinerary. Mike did that last year. We did a good job. Even though we didn't follow it, it was a good outline. It got us started. And basically want to do the same thing this year so that the mayor, so the Mike will begin the ceremony. He'll introduce the mayor. The mayor will announce the moment of silence. The fire chief rings the bell. Hopefully we'll have the flyer with the other stuff at the same time. And then whatever speakers need to be introduced at that point on the itinerary. And then at the end, Mike will do closing. We want to do all this. It's going to be a short ceremony. I would think an hour. By 9:15, we should pretty much be finished everything. So, we have to limit the amount of time the speakers have and whatever. I don't want to say anything to the mayor, but we don't want a lot of,
What was the time that the second plane hit?
8:46 is the first one.
46 first one.
So first plane, 8:46. So you want to honor both planes? Is that, you want to put it on the
There's
agenda?
more than just both planes. The plane in Pennsylvania, there's the Pentagon, there's a lot.
Yeah.
But the actual first attack, the first time we were hit before the Pentagon or the plane in Pennsylvania was the one at 8:46. So I think that would be
Yeah,
the key moment of silence.
Okay.
That one right there. Last year, we had an electric violin player that was awesome.
That's my next question.
That was brought in by Pharma.
Hmm.
This year, as far as music, any ideas on that? We can use the speaker system and use bagpipe music over the intercom. I mean, that could be
Yeah.
maybe just as well.
yeah, I know you're familiar with the system. Because we used your Larry's very techie. He surprised me. So yeah, we can use the.
Old guy, right?
Yeah, I was impressed. So the sound system is, we saw that day, we used it the first time.
We'd like to have two, if we're gonna do that, I think as far as bagpipe music would be more effective, we could have a little bit more volume. And then when the mayor or when they actually speak, we could tone it down, just have a little bit in the background.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the moment of silence, we would block it out for that point and bring it up to a low volume again after that. So we have kind of fill the air, fill the blank spaces. Any comments on that? Are we good with that?
That sounds great. With the other, reminded me the chairs, remember for the Arbor Day event, we realized a little bit late that we needed chairs for a lot of the elderly folks. So we just had 4 or 5 chairs out, which was enough to accommodate, the few people that needed to sit. So it might be a good idea if we did that for this event as well, just in case there were some elderly people that, needed a place to sit.
That was the next thing on my line.
Oh, sorry.
Jeremy's in charge of parks now, correct?
Yes, sir.
So, last year we had a situation where they didn't have the keys out there, remember? To get
The what, I'm sorry?
They didn't have the keys to the storage room for the podium and the equipment. So we need to somehow make sure this year that we have the podium and the equipment and everything out there and not be locked up again like it was last year. So we can set up.
We have, our mobile trailer is out here now, that everything's in there, chairs and everything. So,
Okay. Will Jeremy be out there with us to supervise that end of it, getting that set up?
to set up, most likely it'll be the new liaison, will be there. I'll be there as well, God willing, and Juan Escobar, who's our weekend guy. He's the one that has keys to everything.
All right,
And
so if we're gonna begin the ceremony at 8:15, we need to get set up before then. So I think that probably, I'm thinking 7:30. What time would be a good time for us to be out there and set the stage up?
let's give ourselves, I say 7:15, let's give ourselves an hour, just in case, we have to pull more chairs. 7:15, one finishes up the farmer's market around 7:15. That's the time he more or less, wraps up. But we can have that stuff there, the day before, or we can have it there at 7:15, depending if we use a trailer. If we use a trailer as a backdrop.
Okay, so I'm gonna be on vacation. I won't be here to follow this up until I'll be back on the 7th of September. So I'm kind of,
No, don't worry, Derry. I'm taking notes, and all these things will be processed. So chairs, what do you think, Chairman? About 30 chairs? You want 30, or is that enough?
I would think so. I mean, it's a short event, standing is.
Yeah.
What, as far as invitations, I mean, we're going to invite the town council. Social media, I would think, would be the best way to get it out to the town. We're not restricted as far because of the COVID this year, so we can open it to the public. Being that it's on a Saturday, we might see some, a lot of people show up, but no one knows about it. The best way to get it out there, if we can put it in the town newspaper and social media, the Facebook page.
Yes, sir.
Who would be the person to follow up to get that done, Willie?
That's through Claire, so, and I'll put the request in to make sure. Yeah, tomorrow morning, and I can copy you on that email, Larry.
Thank you.
I'll have them change the time on the flyer and then also request the full, all social media platforms, including Nextdoor. Nextdoor it gets emailed directly to a list that we have.
And last year we brought in Channel 10. They were the ones that did the photographs that went,
I believe it went national too.
yeah, went national, right? So, and that was just done through their online form,
Okay.
that like where we notify them of an event.
So
I think we have it all covered. Is there anything that anyone can think of that I might have left out, Gary?
just for my own edification here, Willie,
Yes, sir.
so the color guard from the police, that's
Confirmed.
in place?
Locked
Okay.
in. Yep.
All right, and we got the grass taken care of?
Yep.
Okay. The flyover request, has that been submitted yet?
It has not been submitted.
Okay,
The letter's ready.
okay, the sooner the better.
Yep.
And there's a concern, I'm thinking, with the Haiti situation, they're probably doing a lot of flights and a lot of their planes could be out. It may work in our favor that they could schedule one of those flights out at the time, but don't know. Have you asked about any speakers or anyone coming up?
Guest speakers, as far as outside of the fire chief, no. And elected officials. Those are the ones we reached out.
Because
Is there
you-
anybody in particular you want to invite
You may ask the commander of the Coast Guard
to come
if
out?
he wishes.
I think, one thing that needs to be taken into consideration, if it's not mentioned, I don't know whether it's our place to mention it or not, but in lieu of what's going on in Afghanistan with 9/11 and, trying to meet deadlines with 9/11 and all these things that are happening, I think that this particular event has special significance more than other years, and that it'll also be the 20th anniversary. So with all these things in mind, I think that, that we should really, really make this thing a special event. Give it anything extra we can and let the people that are helping us know that. Any comments on that?
I agree. I think you said the fire chief, was that the fire chief from Station 64?
The chief that's in charge of our area here. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could go a little bit broader. I don't know if, given, as Larry pointed out, the significance, maybe bring in one of the higher ranking police chiefs
Definitely.
out of Miami and Miami-Dade.
Well, I can definitely ask that through our major. Our major is our chief here.
Mm.
Obviously, he's also invited, but yes, we can put the request in
Mm.
through him.
Okay, Willie, there's a lot on your plate. That's right. With all your jobs and this responsibility too.
Yes,
But
sir.
I think, I've got.
We got some reinforcements coming next week, so
That's good.
she's gonna be put, under the fire real fast. So, but we'll catch her up.
I think we've got it covered. We've got plenty of help. We've got a game plan.
Yeah.
Need some few things to do. We need to get that itinerary. I think.
Also, I forgot to mention, the young Marines, they should be there to help out.
That's wonderful.
And
there's
Giving
one other thing
Gators, hopefully they'll have some students out there as well.
I think would be appropriate when we complete all this, that we get a real nice letter made up letter with maybe some gold leaf printing, maybe signed by our chairperson and the mayor, to go out to all those individuals, the school kids, the Marines, everyone that's helped out in this event, to give them something, a frameable letter signed, and a letter of appreciation. So, do we need a motion for that? Is that something?
That motion.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds great. I make a motion that we provide some type of thank you letter to the folks that volunteer to help set up upon the conclusion. We have a small tent that was, like the
Where we set
sporting
this-
events.
Where we set this up last
Mhm.
year, we took that in consideration. Right behind where the podium's going to be, there's a tent, there's a play area for the kids. It's tented over. So if we needed to, if it was raining, we could move that back. And that area would be tented. And of course, whatever a spectator,
Mhm.
audience would be, sheltered from the rain.
Yeah, because I talked about the tent before, remember? I said, make sure we have a tent
Yeah.
out there.
That's another toy that we have inside the trailer. We have a tent ready to go.
And it's a great point because it did rain last year.
Yeah, yeah, I think Mike got wet, I
Yeah.
think.
And then you said you had another question?
Now I'm on. Okay, as far as the certificates go, as I recall, those are pretty pricey. Is that coming out of this Veterans Committee's budget, or how does that actually work?
That's a good point. We have about $300 left in our budget, so we could provide for it if it need be. I don't think you weren't talking about getting something printed, but rather doing it on a. Yeah, I think that's what William was getting at. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
something pretty fancy, and pretty nice, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if, do we want to drop that kind of money on?
That we acknowledge people to help us in things like this. That inspires, number one, it gives them a little bit of pride in the community and inspires them to help us again on the next thing.
Hmm.
I think saying thank you is one of the biggest things we can do.
Hmm.
And,
Well, it's something that definitely the kids could put into their whatever
Yeah.
applications for college or high schools or whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
So
I did that for the young Marines from the American Legion. Certificates of appreciation, they put it in their books. And I offer that as well to the police explorers already. We're going to be there.
Oh, from the Legion?
I think it would be very much
We have one that is
appreciated,
already.
but we just have to recognize that we don't, we have a limited budget as we finish up the fiscal year. And we're going to get to our money here at the end, but I mean, we could take it down to zero, but we can't go over that. That would
Right.
be the only consideration.
I'm sure we'll figure out how to do it. We need to bring in a few little outside donations. I'm sure we'll figure out where that comes from. I'd be happy to contribute towards that.
So did we made the motion to provide thank you letters at a cost, recognizing that we'd like to see the cost less than, I'm sorry, did you have something to say, Bill?
I just have a question. Don't all these kids at school that Friday?
They do. That's actually a very good point, and that's what happened to us last year. We waited for the volunteers to show up, and
Mhm.
they didn't get there until 3-ish. So that's why the early morning crowd was really important. And then the kids helped get us across the finish line, but by then, yeah, we'd been out there for quite some time. And you're right, that's exactly why, because they had school.
Yeah, Humana has offered, at last counted, she had about 6 of them, 6 volunteers, but could be more. Yeah, that's the big push that we need in the morning.
Oh, so your point is, they're gonna have school and they're gonna show up for 2 hours to help put up flags. And so do we want to invest a large amount saying thank you? No, or just highlighting the fact that,
I'm just highlighting the fact that you're gonna have them for, a short period of time. And I suspect that they get, it's not credits, but they get something for community service.
I can give them
From
community
school.
service hours if they need it. But I can give them community service hours if they need them.
Yeah, they
But
get, they get service hours for
But
that.
yeah, but the volunteers, I will be presenting them with commemorative pin for 9/11
From the American Legion.
from the American Legion that we bought.
Those pins you had with the twin towers on them last year, Gary, were
It
kind of
does, this
special.
one too. Says 20th year anniversary, September 11, 2001. It's got the twin towers and the flag behind it. You can just pass it around.
I think, my namesake over here, it raises a good point, if you're only gonna be there for a few hours, so we want to invest the cost of getting everyone a really nice certificate. I don't know, I can see the positive of it. But then at the same time, I can also think of, you gotta earn it.
It goes right to the participation trophy. That's,
That's right.
you show up, you get something. So,
Exactly.
but I think Larry's larger point is we do a lot of things in this committee and we never really say thank you to anybody. We kind of have an expectation that they're going to continue to help
Or was that
us.
for me?
Yeah.
Huh?
Was that for me or you just passing it around?
Take a look at it. You'll get one.
And then the other point, which is, we have such a great relationship with the American Legion, but oftentimes the two blend, and it really doesn't matter, who's accepting accolades, who's representing, but at the same time, it's a town event. It would be nice to put a town signature on it rather than award, give them something that commemorates the American Legion. I mean, the bigger idea is that we recognize as a country that we went through something. But if we're going to pass out anything that individualizes it, it would probably be good if it was a blend of the two, American Legion and the town of Miami Lakes, lest there be some confusion in the messaging. Just a thought.
That's a thought, Gary. What Mike had just said about including the American Legion.
I've never looked at the difference. I said, this Veterans Committee, we're veterans. We're the Legion, we're veterans. Okay.
They make it for the organization as opposed to every participant, right? So instead of giving every person that puts a flag down a certificate, you get kids from the American Legion, the young Marines, everyone else gets, maybe you can give that organization a plaque. And then the cost is not the same, right? Because plaques, you can probably get
That works.
$15, you know what
Because
I mean?
I can make those
And then
certificate of
it doesn't
appreciation
really
at home.
matter if only like a couple kids come out, as long as the organization.
I got
Because
plenty of-
I do agree, like, people should do this because they want to. You know what I mean? Which is nice to say thank you, but say thank you to the organization, not because some one person, that's just.
I like that. Maybe that, and then a letter, just a letter with stationery to the individual. And then-
There you
and
go.
then something else.
That's
for the
easier.
organization.
Because you gotta realize for the individuals, we gotta get everybody's names. We gotta get everybody's
Absolutely.
address.
That would
And
be.
that may be, we could probably get it through the organizations that are
I'll personally
sponsoring.
do that. I'll go around, I'll get everybody's name that's there. Right? No problem.
Oh, the organization probably knows.
Yeah, no,
Each organization.
like the
probably
young
knows what's
Marines,
going
they
on.
give me a list, the police explorer, they give me a list of names,
That's right.
and I type the certificates and I give them to them.
I like to go around thanking everybody anyway. I think it's just.
But I
No,
think-
The organization gets a plaque and each individual just gets a regular, standard naval course.
Which they can still use, right? They can still
Exactly.
use
They can
for
put that in their application.
college or whatever, so.
Or at least something embossed with the town seal. We can do that, William? On a town letterhead with a town seal without having us break the bank?
Yes, sir. No, we can use the letterhead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that,
They probably got
and we got good paper too.
seal press.
Yeah, quality paper.
Somebody had a seal press, right?
We don't have a seal press that I know of, but it's very elegant. It's an elegant.
Does the mayor wear a signet ring and he melts it? and-
Yeah, right.
Melts the wax and then stamps it.
The king seal.
His last name is Sid. Now I'm starting to come together.
Kiss the Pope.
I think we pretty much covered
The
it.
Pope.
Do we, it sounds like we have the letters recognizing the participants will be paid for through using town supplies. And then the awards or plaques that recognize the organizations will be provided for at our cost. And so that we're going to vote recognizing that we have a limited amount of money within the confines of our budget. I make a motion that we provide a small memento of our gratitude to the folks that participate by giving their organization a plaque, and we at not to exceed the amount of monies that we have in our budget.
Right. The last count that we had is $493.
Yep.
That's
Okay.
it.
All right,
Hopefully no one-
seconded by Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you.
And Larry, please send me the list of the organizations if you have those, so I could get a price on the plaque,
Will do.
please.
It's nice having a treasurer.
Yeah, we won't know until later on though, because
All right, great. Moving right along. That's 9/11, which is only a couple of weeks away. We have the Veterans Day Parade in November. I don't really know if there's a lot we need to discuss there, other than we suggested that we'd like it to end at the newly named Veterans Park or include that somehow. But I think there's a recognition that that might be difficult to do.
because of traffic.
And so we had talked about activities, concert, food, but if everybody finishes here, it's going to be difficult to get them over there. So maybe I can open that up for discussion. Does anybody have any thoughts or ideas? The Picnic Park West over there by the CVS, the Mary Collins Center, is going to be, our hope is, that'll be renamed the Veterans Park, and that will happen next month. So by the Veterans Day Parade, we'd like to do something there at that park. And anybody that's participated in the Veteran Day parades here knows, it's very, it's community-based. The kids participate, and then as soon as they're done with the route, they all leave and head to their cars, and that's the end of the day. There really isn't anything that kind of brings it together. There's a small handful of veterans that stay behind, and there's usually a recognition from one of the Congress people. The Grand Marshal gets a little something, but everybody else has gone home. And so we had suggested that we would like to do something at the park, but getting them from here, which has been the traditional route, over to the park might be problematic. So
It is.
anybody have any thoughts on how we might skin that cat? Not last year, because that was the car route,
That was
but
the
the
car,
one
the year
before,
before.
yeah.
We had that big, remember that big recruitment semi?
Semi here yet. Any routes that we conduct in the town goes through the police department. We give them an idea and logistically they have to see if,
We proposed it, and then you might remember the other issue was funding for the police having to close off traffic.
that was the 5K event. It was a little different, yeah.
We didn't pay for the Veterans Day Parade
We do pay it, but it's budgeted.
out of our budget.
No,
No,
from the event's budget.
$6,000
Yeah.
the town puts in.
Yeah, and for the veteran, I'm sorry, the Jingle Bell Jog, it was 7,000 something, but we had found out after the fact that there was a mechanism to bring the police in, and they would volunteer hours and do it for free if the money was going to a worthwhile cause. So we ended up paying a good chunk of our money that we got for the event, and we ended up paying the police in overtime, $7,000, almost $8,000. And when we discussed it, it was brought up that there is a mechanism that law enforcement will provide traffic control basically by volunteering their overtime hours rather than being paid for it. And there's a mechanism to do that. Does
Yeah.
anybody remember that?
I think that last time Split Second actually did the work of getting the police involved instead of coming through the town. Remember?
Yeah, they went straight to the county. They didn't hire, they opened it up for the whole county to participate.
Well, because you said, I remember we had to do that because previously we'd been limiting it to our own police force. And they said that was a no-no. We had to open it to the larger Miami-Dade Police Department, not just limit it to our guys.
I think since we went through a third vendor, like Gary said, a split second, they went straight to the department and they outsourced it. They
Yeah.
opened it up for the whole department.
Yeah.
If is
That's
that
how it was
correct?
done. That's how it was done.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Willie, how much time advance notice do they need? The police departments in order to, for that?
What we talking about, the route?
Yeah.
No, that's something that the committee will decide, and bring it to the town's attention.
I'm talking,
Traditionally, since I've been here, it starts by the movies and it does a wrap around, and it ends up here. in town hall.
I'm talking about the police to guard block the roads and all the other stuff. How much advance notice they need for that in order and that we can take advantage of Mike was saying.
For the parade, that doesn't become a factor. That's already budgeted in our town's account for the parade. We're talking about, what Mike is talking about, it's the 5K event.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead because we're on the Veterans
Yeah.
Day, but I was just saying that I remembered that there was a mechanism. And so the subject that we started with was, is there a way for us to end it at the park? And if the answer is probably
It's-
not,
it's
then
gonna
we'll just
be tough.
disregard that as it was a good idea,
gonna
but
be
we're not going to be able to do it.
Beautiful idea. but
And that will have to go through, if the committee decides on the route that ends up or starts in the park, that's something that has to go in front of administration and town
It
council.
doesn't make sense because it goes to an industrial area and you want to be in an area where we can have spectators.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have spectators in that area, that end
Now,
of town.
February 12th, I've already reserved the pavilion B at Picnic Park West, which is where we're looking to place the corner for the Veterans Park section. But we have a picnic. Maybe we can get something set up for them to call to everyone attention to come to the park that day, since we'll be there. So, and we'll be having food.
What's the significance of February 12th?
Hmm?
Is there a special?
That's our second annual picnic, post picnic, family picnic.
All right, so I
Might
guess
as well.
what would really nothing to do with the Veterans Day part. I mean, it's November, so it's still a couple of months off, but again, it's just food for thought. In all likelihood, as much as we would like to acknowledge the new park with its new name, that might not be the occasion for it. Maybe we'll end up doing it the 4th of July, everybody will be there then perhaps. But nothing else to discuss then on the Veterans Day Park. We'll move on to the Jingle Bell Jog. We voted, I think 2 meetings ago or last meeting to hold the event on December 12th so it doesn't conflict with another race that's going on in Fort Lauderdale the following week. William, what is the timeline? Split second timing, December is 4 months away. When do we need to start the ball rolling on sponsorship and getting people in?
Well, Josh, and again, when the new person comes online, next week, we have to hit the ground running.
I'm sorry, Josh is who?
Well, the new person that comes in for events, that's gonna be
Oh,
one.
he's going to be your replacement.
She will, it's a
She,
woman, yeah.
okay.
So, but Josh did send an email out last week with some details that he already launched the one in Fort Lauderdale and asking for direction. I know it went to administration. I have to follow up on that. But he's on it. He's already working on it. As far as December 12th, haven't heard back from the Grams to make sure that's a date that works for them. We'll verify that date with them.
Okay. And is that your responsibility to reach out to them then?
I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll transition that to the new person.
Okay. Does that mean that you're going to be leaving us as as our advisor?
No, I'm still, God willing, I'll still be here. We're friends and family, so you can call me up and
Okay.
I still have, it's a long learning process for the new person,
Okay.
especially the parade, Yeah, Gary was here longer than I have, but that's a monster in itself.
Mhm.
You talk about 90+ organizations.
Mm.
The last time we held it before COVID, we hit 100, right, Gary? Like 100 participants. And 100 participants, we're talking about organizations. That goes into the thousands once you start adding everybody in those parade lines. So
And I will say that William, Bill, and Lourdes, one of the things that we faced last year was we were looking for some type of continuity book so that as we fell in on these events, we can say, okay, how did we do it previously? And, it wasn't done that way. So we had endeavored that we would try and change that culture so that it wouldn't matter who was running things. You would have some sense of, what happened, how to do it. Because what has happened up until this point, it's been the same people that have been running things. And the response has always been, oh, don't worry, we've got it taken care of. We do the same thing every year. But what we feared has happened, and the people that have been kind of leading this event None of them are here anymore. So, so having said that, we really, I think it's important. We talked about it last year, but we ended up with holding on to a tiger by the tail. We were just glad to get through the events, but we really need to codify this a bit better and at least have some type of a continuity book that we can pass on to the people so that we know, where the grandstand goes, who does the lights, who contacts the Grams, who opens Main Street, who, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, that would be a natural question. And unfortunately, we haven't been doing that because it's been, a small, intimate event run by friends. But as we've gotten bigger, we recognize there's a need to perhaps do things a little bit differently. Yeah. All right, that's the Jingle Bell Jog then. That really doesn't require, we'll push that one down the road just a tad bit longer, which then brings us to our newly inducted treasurer. Mr. Gary Cardenas is going to give us the committee's treasury report. Mr. Cardenas?
It's been a challenging way to generate a report, but I finally did come up with a spreadsheet that doesn't look anything like. I'm used to working with ledgers and accounts as a banker, and have never seen anything like this before. Everything is the same account from the town side. Then they have like what appears to be separate accounts, like 17437 is the Veterans Affairs Committee. Then 366010 is identified as contributions and donations. But then all of the other different expenses are 548158, the same sub-account, let's call it. It's just a different name. CARE Veterans Affairs Committee, Miami Lakes Veterans that passed away, Military Tribute Banner, plaque purchases, trees and plaques, Veterans Committee shirts, and they all have the same, under the same account number, same ledger sub-account number.
Gary, do we know how much we received in donations last year? Is that readily identifiable?
It's, we received for the 8,857 from the Auto Mall for the banners.
Sorry, how much was that? 8,000?
8,857.
Okay.
And then for the Arbor Day, the tree, $500 also from Auto Mall. Those were the only donations.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that came in. No, this is only from
Last year,
this past year.
the year previous,
From
yeah.
2020 to 2021. We will 9357 total, correct. And we had the budget of $4,500 and we paid out all of the donated monies towards the banners, of course, and then $2,500. They moved some money around. They transferred from the CARE and Veterans Affairs $500. They wiped that out. And from the 250 from the veterans that passed away, there was 250, took out 120 and moved that 620 into the Arbor Day plaque.
And then if I could, just as a point of clarification, one of the things that we didn't realize, it took us a little bit to decipher, was when we received this donated money, we thought that we could hold on to it and then you apply it to future, because it wasn't budgeted by the town, we could just roll it over into future fiscal years. But what's happened so far is that it was rolled over into the town and the town spent it. And the rationale has been, they're going to, if there's any money at the end of the year, they're going to spend donated money first, is the
Yeah.
bottom line. And then any money that's left over will be,
Will be the town's money.
is town money,
that they
and then
will-
they can do with it
that
what
they
they
will
want.
keep.
Yeah. And we did ask the question
No, no.
because especially as we go forward with a park and there's talk about monuments and maybe larger projects that are going to require, multi-year planning. If the town manager did recognize that there is a mechanism to code the money a bit differently so that we could roll it over If we get money for a particular event, then it should be, it's donated, then we should spend it on that event. And there's some case law that provides that, moral, ethical obligation to spend it in the manner it was given or directed, rather than just spend it on something else. So they said that they're going to take a look at it, and we would have to address it individually with the town.
Yeah, I ran into that on active duty. It's called the Anti-Deficiency Act. You're required by law, federal government, state governments,
Mhm.
to use the budget in a manner it was appropriate for. It's the time, purpose, and use laws. And one of the things that we may want to consider with the park is setting up a charitable organization, 501c3, that folks can funnel the money to. That sole purpose is to provide for this Veterans Park and the monuments and stuff, which will allow us to kind of be unhindered from the Anti-Deficiency Act. So you may want to consider that.
I doubt that the town would allow us to, the committee to set up a 501c3.
Well, I mean, not the committee.
Yeah.
We are individuals,
I think it was separate.
it's a totally separate entity. It wouldn't be a government entity. It has to be a separate entity.
Yeah, no. Anyone, yeah. Yeah, like we are a 501c3.
And then,
Well,
then the only question becomes, can this 501c3, is the town allowed to accept gifts from a charitable organization to put up money? Because all these things that would be put into the park would be gifts from this charitable organization.
From someone.
And then it becomes public property.
Hmm.
But there's some kind of, usually most places have rules. I know in the military, we had huge rules on who can accept a gift and stuff like that. What's
Right.
their acceptance authority? How much of a gift can they accept?
Yeah.
The cost and all that.
Couldn't
So
accept
that's
cash
something
or-
We have
yeah.
to, as we start running this process, we have to really kind of lay out and figure out. Does the town have, for a lack of a better term, what we used to have in the military, a joint ethics regulations, which tells them, which lays these out on who can provide gifts and how they accept gifts and all that stuff? Or is that by the town attorney's office, or who exactly handles that?
That's a combination of town attorney and the finance department.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it'll be something to look into, just as check the viability and feasibility of this 501c3 and what we can do.
Of this, I can give you this and I can email it to you. Or I can, yeah.
To put it with the minutes so that we can,
Yeah.
part of the
That's
record.
it. Yeah, the other thing I found initially when I did the first report, that we had $493 left of donated funds. I said, well, that shouldn't be. So we went back and checked. I said, doesn't make sense, Willie. This is the way that it was moved around. And what happened is that from Claricel, money that came in from the auto mall for different purposes, although they were earmarked as to which account they were to be credited to, the $500 for the tree got credited to something else. So when I got through, they got through putting it in the right place, then the money that is left now, the 493, is the town's money, not the donated money.
Oh, right. Awesome.
Okay, our budget's, let's just say our budget's 15,000. And at the end of the year, let's say we have 20,000 in our account. So the town not only takes back their 15,000, you also grab our extra, the other 5?
No, it has to do with the way that it's spent. When the expenses come out, it's paid out of the donated funds first, of the
For
donations
example, with the
first.
money that comes in from the money that we bring in, let's say from the Jingle Bell Jog.
Right.
Okay, so after all said and done, and the fiscal year ends, and we have more money in than what we originally started with.
That works a little bit different because that is an event, a separate event that is self-funded. And that event is used, the purpose is that the money that the event nets out is distributed to someone. So there'll be to an organization or to.
So basically,
Some-
it all goes into the general fund of the town.
Right,
Yeah.
initially, but it goes straight out.
Yeah.
And
Is the
is the town required to expend all the appropriated monies at the end of each fiscal year?
They are.
They are?
Yep.
Okay, so we cannot roll over anything. from
Well,
that.
No.
the practice has been that they've obligated themselves, but when we brought this up as an issue for us, because we were trying to track down our donated money, and we said, gosh, and we brought these points up, that's a bit unfair. If we receive donations, how is it now being spent
Yeah.
on other projects? That was when there was a recognition that maybe, and we use the examples, using the military, that you have different pots of money that have different rules attached to them, and you can have long-term projects and certain pots of money that will allow you to plan. And they recognize that, okay, that would be an option. And so we haven't gotten anything in writing. We brought it up at a town hall meeting, and the city manager said, we can do that. He felt that we could, and the attorney agreed with him, but it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, I mean, my last bill was the head logistics for Pacific Bases and Marine Corps. I dealt with the pots of money. You had O&M, you had, for equipment, you had for buildings and stuff like that, and they all have different time horizons. But the everyday operation and maintenance budget had a fiscal death notice. If you didn't spend it, you lost it. I don't know if we're going to be able to go and put our money into their construction fund, which has that long-term horizon, because we have a problem with time, purpose, use, the Energy Efficiency Act, which is federal law, and I'm sure it's applied in state as well. So, but I do not know, but I'm pretty certain it does. I'm just throwing that out there, I'm not trying to rain on this parade. I'm just trying to, brainstorm this. Based upon
Yeah,
my
no, it's a
experience.
great point. Thanks, William. And our concern was that we were getting money, large sums of money. And at the end, when we did the budget, we found we had no money, and we
Yeah, because
we
it
all
goes to
looked
the
at each
general
other and
fund.
said, where's our money? And then it was, we went through a kind of a lengthy explanation process. We finally realized exactly what was happening to it. And then we proposed, can we not code it a bit differently, recognizing that it was donated to us for this purpose, and that we keep it in, with the spirit of the donation, rather than taking it and going and buying, baseball bats for the baseball team.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying that may be a bridge too far, because they may not be able to code it to long-term money projects like construction.
And I don't know, they didn't research it. It was brought up at a public hearing. They discussed it, and they said, yes, they felt they could do it, but we haven't done it yet.
I second
All in favor?
that. Aye.
With no opposed, and so ordered. I'm sorry, Gary, is that the end of the report? I know you put a lot into it. And there was one other thing that you mentioned, that you talked, that might be good to bring up if we ever have this committee workshop. And that was the way they had identified the money, which made it difficult to follow because it was all coded the same. I forget exactly how you termed it, but it was hard to differentiate who contributed what and where it came from, because it just received the same coding. And that's something that you feel could be changed and improved.
The way that is, like I said, I did budgets for 37 years in a bank, 3 years budgets, 5-year budgets. I worked ledgers, accounting background, head of accounting department. I've never seen anything like it.
Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to government budgets.
But I mean, if you look at them, you'll see the same account and the same sub account, but different titles, the lines are different.
Yeah, so maybe that would be worthwhile bringing up. I mean, it's worth mentioning if they don't want to do it that way, but from our end, seems like it would make it a little bit more transparent. Yeah.
And maybe there's someone doing double checking, like they did that $500. They put it in the wrong cubbyhole.
Yeah.
Who's checking?
Well, that
This
was
thing.
our concern, was we were afraid that we were losing money somewhere. And then it became difficult to track where the money had gone until you went through it with a fine tooth comb.
It could have gone somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, very good then. Thank you, Gary.
But-
And if
but
I could, one last point, which was mentioned earlier. Elizabeth, who had previously done our programs and agendas, she's gone now.
She's also gone, but the replacement started today. So tomorrow I'm going to send her this flyer to update it. And then, well, I'm going to need Larry's the rundown, the agenda for Saturday.
We did do a draft agenda last year, but because of the COVID restrictions, we didn't want to turn this into an event. So we
Yeah.
never, I don't think, if I remember correctly, we didn't print them.
Yeah, we didn't want to hand anything out. We didn't want people touching anything.
Right,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so.
if it's there, we can find it.
Yeah. so
And I'll
that's
have
on
her
our
send it to
to-do
you.
list Still then, yeah.
Yeah, I'll have her send it to you so you can review it and make changes and then we'll make it pretty.
Okay.
And Chairman, I checked the dates for you for the budget hearings. We were right on the 7th, but the 21st is the next one, 7 and 21. September 27th and September 21st.
And I'm sorry, William, what time was that?
I didn't see a time on there. Typically it's 6:30, but I'll verify the time.
Okay.
September 7th and September 21. So that'll be a busy week there. Because we have the 9/11, preparations going on.
And so now, thank you, Lourdes, William, and Bill. You've had the opportunity. I know that some of us, when we joined, we said, veterans, we want to help. We've had people, come and say, I just want to, give a veteran a hug. I want to build a veteran a home. I want to give them some, food. But that's not quite what this committee is. And we thought, maybe we could, do more. But, we have limited resources. And so we think, well, maybe visibility is our best option, improving the visibility. What we did with the Jingle Bell Jog a couple of years ago is that generated a $17,000 profit that we provided to an organization that deals with people with PTSD. So we thought that was fruitful. We have discussed that maybe if money is going to be an issue, that maybe the monies that we raise could be used to address items in the park, if we're going to spruce that park up in any manner. If not, what we ran into a problem with the giving the money. Last year, we gave the money to an organization that does fishing with vets, apparently quite reputable. The year before, it was the Fisher House, which provides housing over by the VA. I think they got a check for $8,000. If I remember correctly, Mr. Cardenas gave them that check. So there is something that's being generated from the activities. It's not just a feel-good organization. But if there are other charitable organizations that deserve consideration, then if you would please, what we did last year, we struggled. Ed, looked them all up to find the ones that were validated because we had several that looked good on paper.
Yeah.
And then when we went through them, we found
Yeah.
out that, maybe not so much. So if you have some in the back of your head, and my hope would be, your contributions have been very much appreciated. And it's nice to get, people with different perspectives in. So our hope would be that you would consider joining the committee. There are positions available. William would be the guy to talk to and get you sworn in. Because now that the turnaround time is a little bit quicker. So rather than coming to the meetings, make you voting members, that would be appreciated. If not, if you decide it's not for you, then we appreciate seeing you for a couple of meetings and you're always welcome to come back.
Yeah. Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chair.
And just send me, if you're interested in joining, send me an email and I'll connect you to the town clerk, do the application. It goes from there, it goes to the vacant spot, the elected official has that vacant spot and they'll review your application.
And I'm sorry, it's very quick process. Previously, it was, 5, 6 months before you would, but now it's supposed to be 1 month turnaround time. So,
My email, Sanchez W. Sanchez, SANCHEZ W at Miami Lakes dash or hyphen FL.gov.
Before we adjourn, Mr. Chair, suggestion, since this is going to be part of our
At Miami Lakes dash
dash.
FL, like the state, .gov.
FL as in Frank
That's in-
Lima.
that's in-
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's in Florida. yeah,
Frank-
yeah.
Yep.
You filled one out already, I think, yeah. Mhm. Yep. So if you're interested in, then, yes, you'd like to, because the idea of coming to a couple of meetings was just to make sure that that in fact, the committee was, doing what you hoped it would do, rather than find out after the fact that, oh my gosh, it's nothing what I thought it was going to be. So if you're interested, then yes, we'll just let us know.
Just send me a quick note. So Gina, if she has your application, then, I'll connect you two again. Hey, she's interested, please move forward.
Mm.
And from there, it goes to the elected official who has the vacant spot.
And then they do a simple swearing in ceremony. Yeah, well, I wouldn't even call it a ceremony, but practice, and then from there, you're in. You're one of the gang, part of the inner circle.
So, suggestion prior
Yes,
to
sir.
adjournment, to email this to all the members? The
Yeah,
treasurer's
okay.
report
Yes, please.
Okay.
You want to send it to William and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
to come from there.
Thank you, Gary. Gary knows the routine. Send it to me. I'll forward to her, but
Mhm.
thank you, Gary.
Okay.
And then that way he has it electronically as well, so he can attach it.
All right, we have 1 minute left. Does anybody have anything they'd like to add? This was, a little unusual. We had really no new business. This was all old business. You're going to be out, Larry, so are there any things that we need to do in the interim? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Although he tested negative already, his doctor asked him to stay off for a couple of weeks,
Mm.
don't out of contact.
Mm. Mm.
You may call him tomorrow, but based on what I heard from Pedro, they already had ordered them.
Yeah, they did. She said, I think
380,
she thought they would be in by the end of August. Mhm. Daniel, did you have anything to? Yeah, okay. It's a nice haircut you're sporting. Yeah, it makes you look younger. All right, then, nothing else to add then. I move to adjourn the meeting. Ed, what time do you have? 8:13. Is anybody second? Okay, Mario seconds. All in favor? Okay, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much.